Hello students, let us discuss Kapil Kapoor's literary theory. So what are the key concepts? First, the goal of decolonization. So here we'll see what are the goals. Kapil Kapoor's primary objective is to move away from Western critical frameworks. This is the purpose. We have to understand the object to move away from the Western critical frameworks, which he believes are often unsuitable for Indian text and instead center Indian intellectual traditions. So that is the reason he has given the theory, critical theory. He believes that to truly understand Indian literature, we must use the critical categories developed by our own scholars, which is important. This is developed by our own scholars such as Panini, Bharat Muni, Abhinav Gupta. So we should follow our scholars, own scholars, which have developed the critical categories or thoughts. So that is more suitable because all theories are developed according to Indian text and situations. So that is why Kapil Kapoor has given another literary theory. Number two reason, literature as a knowledge discourse. So he said literature is not just for entertainment, but it is the knowledge discourse. So Kapil Kapoor argues that in the Indian tradition, literature, kavya, is not merely meant for entertainment or mimesis, imitation of reality. Mimesis is imitation of reality. So that is not just for entertainment. Instead, it is treated as a serious discourse of knowledge. Means if something is written, so that is the serious discourse of knowledge. If poetry, drama, or anything is written, that has its own value and that is a purpose. So that is why it should be taken seriously, that Kapil Kapoor argues. Literature is seen as a way to understand the human condition. What he is saying that literature in Indian setup, literature is seen as a way to understand the human condition, ethics, and the nature of reality itself. So, literature is a way to understand the human condition, ethics, and the nature of reality itself. Right? This is the literature. Right? So, through literature, we understand human conditions, ethics, and nature of reality itself, because that is why it is said that literature is the mirror of society, mirror of human life. Right? Now, third is the concept of dhwani or suggestion. Very important concept of dhwani, right? So, this is the central pillar of his work. Important. Kapoor explains that language functions at three levels, right? What are the three levels? Why language has three levels? Abhidha, the literal meaning of a word, right? So a word has literal meaning, right? Then lakshan, the secondary or metaphorical meaning, right? One is literal meaning, second one is metaphorical or secondary meaning, and third is vyanjana, the suggested or deeper meaning. So there are three levels of meaning, right? One is literal meaning, second one is secondary or metaphorical, and third is deeper meaning, right? Very important part of his theory. So Kapoor asserts that the soul of poetry, kavyatma, that's the soul of poetry, resides in vyanjan, right? What is left unsaid, very important, what is left unsaid, it is the ability of language to suggest deeper layers of meaning beyond the surface text, what we read, what we listen, what we watch. But language has the capacity to suggest deeper layers of meaning. What we can say, different shapes and black and whites and letters and what we listen, but language has the ability to express deeper meaning. So, with this third point is very important, which is uh, the concept of dhwani, right? Dhwani is important, very important. In fact, you must have listened that our elders used to tell that don't speak some don't use ill words in my home. I have listened that my grandmother used to tell us that not to speak, don't speak negative, don't think negatively, because she used to tell that कि हमारी जवान में सरस्वती बैठती है और 24 घंटे की कही बात सच होती है. दैट इज़ द इम्पॉर्टेंस ऑफ ध्वनि. ध्वनि इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, बिकॉज वॉट वी से it is said that it is it echoes in the environment, and that is why we should be very much cautious when we speak something, right? So somewhat that's the same idea of Kapil Kapoor's. Now, next is the rasa experience. What's the rasa experience? Kapoor emphasizes the theory of rasa, right? Theory of rasa or aesthetic flavor. Whatever is written, which is uh, which is written for enjoyment, right? So he explains that the purpose of literary work is suppose poem, drama, whatever. So, what the purpose of literary work is? To evoke a universalized emotional state in the reader, right? Universalized emotional state. It is not just about the reader's personal emotions, it is universal. What I feel, that is, and what I express through poetry, drama, or any literary work. So that is not my personal emotions, only my personal emotions. It is universalized emotional state. Rather, through the art, even painting, drawing, through the art, the reader undergoes any art, even painting, drawing, the reader, here he is talking about writing, reader undergoes a transformation to experience a redefined universal aesthetic pleasure. Means through any writing, a reader undergoes a transformation to experience a refined universal aesthetic pleasure, right? So that is the universal aesthetic pleasure through writing, right? And then finally he says that the Sahiday or the ideal reader. Kapoor highlights the importance of Sahiday, which refers to a person who possesses the sensitivity, maturity, and cultural grounding to truly appreciate a work of art. That is Sahiday. Why? Because a person possesses the sensitivity, maturity, and cultural grounding to truly appreciate a work of art. Without sensitivity, maturity, and cultural grounding, you cannot appreciate work of art. So the reader is not a passive recipient, because reader who is reading your work is sensitive, matured, and he or she has cultural ground. And that is why he is not passive recipient but an active participant who must the resonate with the text to experience the rasa. So he enjoys the text, and that rasa, और that जो आनंद की अनुभूति करता है वो पढ़ने के बाद, दैट इज साहित्य. सो what are the uh, important points why this approach matters? By using these Indian categories, we stop viewing Indian texts as deviant or lacking compared to Western literature. We begin to see them as complete self sustaining systems of thought. And that is why this approach matters. Example: when reading an ancient Indian epic, if you use Western concepts of tragedy, you might misinterpret the ending. Important thing is message is conveyed. Why? Because you are using Western lens, and through the Western concept, if you try to understand tragedy or anything, so you may misinterpret the text, because ending or message is not conveyed properly or is not conveyed. So that is why that this theory is important. However, if you use the concept of rasa and dhwani, rasa is enjoyment, ecstasy, and dhwani is sound. So you will see that the text is designed to lead the reader toward a specific philosophical realization, or shanta, peace, tranquility, rather than just focusing on the plot's conflict. Very important point. What if you use the concept of rasa and dhwani? Means if you are enjoying, if you understand the sound, deeper meaning of sound, you will see that the text is designed to lead the reader toward a specific philosophical realization, or shant, peace or tranquility, rather than just focusing on the plot's conflict. No, that's a uh, somewhat, when you find the extract or find the conclusion, so that is shanta or peace or tranquility. So what he is trying to tell, that text is not just text, words are not just verse or black and white. After reading, your thoughts, your that's dhwani changes your thoughts, you enjoys that, ultimately that gives you peace. So conclusion is, reclaiming intellectual sovereignty. Ultimately, Kapil Kapoor's project is an act of intellectual liberation. By shifting the focus from Western critical paradigms to indigenous frameworks, he provides a roadmap for decolonizing the mind. Don't fix with the structured or set theory. His work suggests that Indian literature should not be viewed as a mere regional subset of world literature, but a robust, independent system of thought. So, Indian what he's saying, that Indian literature is a robust, independent system of thought, right? And by applying concepts like dhwani and rasa, very important, the reader moves beyond superficial plot analysis to engage with literature as a profound vehicle for wisdom. Because if you read good text, so that creates, and then that changes your mind, so it leads to wisdom. So Kapoor's theory transforms the act of reading into active, transformative experience, inviting the Sahideh to participate in the discovery of universal truths. In essence, he restores the dignity of Indian literary traditions. Important. Dignity of Indian literary traditions, ensuring they are evaluated on their own terms as sophisticated, self sustaining discourses that seek to harmonize human emotion, ethics, and the nature of a reality. So, this is the theory which is given by Kapil Kapoor. Important points are, concepts are, the goal of decolonization. We have to come out from the colonization. We have to think by our own. We have to think, apply our mind, and then read the text, right? And he says that why? Because what he says, that we should follow these authors, scholars, not only authors, these scholars, because they have given theory, uh, they are Indians, they understand the situation, text and everything. So that first concept is decolonization. Number two, he talked about literature as a knowledge discourse. Literature is only not for sake for writing. Literature, poetry, or especially poetry, drama or whatever, that is written for, that is not mimesis or entertainment. It's not just imitation of reality, and okay, something has happened and that is changed into literature. No, literature here is a serious discourse of knowledge, and that's a way to understand human condition. Through literature we give, still we uh, give example of God, Ram and Sita. The Sita, right, example of Sita is given in many situations, like she was alone or so. So these are our ideal person, and we suppose that they are real, and that is why Indian literature uh, is very different, and that should be understood through Indian lens only. So that second point is, that is the knowledge discourse. Okay, so that is not only for sake for writing, that is knowledge discourse. Number three, the concept of dhwani, very important, because he says that language functions at three levels, right? And that is a word, or word has, so the literal meaning of a word means each and every word has literal meaning, secondary or metaphorical meaning, and suggested or deeper meaning. So this is the concept of dhwani he has given. And Kapoor asserts that the soul of poetry resides in the vyanjan, right? Not only swar, that is vyanjan, and that is which is unsaid, what is left unsaid, which is between the lines, we can say, or which is deeper, beyond the superficial words, right? And then fourth, concept is the rasa experience, because when we read and we enjoy, we our mind is happy. And finally, what he says, that is aesthetic flavor. Aesthetic flavor means rasa, right? Which gives you, which makes you happy, right? So that is personal emotions. We are happy, we cry sometime, right? So these are the rasa experience. Sometime we got fear, like we are sometime happy, sometime we are angry because of text. And finally, the Sahida, that is ideal reader, right? So Sahida, the reader, is not a passive recipient but active participant. So we are ideal reader because we participate in writing, right? We take rasa, right? So these are the five basic concepts he has given in his theory. And why this matter? Because this is Indian category. We stop viewing Indian texts as deviant or lacking compared to Western literature. Finally, we should see the Indian literature through Indian lens only. An example he has talked about: suppose you read any tragedy and use western concepts, so you cannot conclude it properly, or maybe you misinterpret the text and misinterpret the ending, right? So that is why he has focused on rasa and dhwani. And he says that we have to understand through Indian setup or Indian theory, right? So conclusion is that Kapoor project that intellectual liberation. And when you read, right, and anything, when you read any work, so that finally you should uh, focus, not you should see the text through Indian setup. You should follow Bharat Muni, Abhinav Gupta, right? And Indian Panini, right? His work suggests, Kapil Kapoor's work suggests that Indian literature should not be viewed as a mere regional subset of world literature, but as a robust independent system of thought. So this is the theory which is given by Kapil Kapoor, right? So read it carefully. Thank you so much. Your suggestions and feedbacks are always most welcome. You can write me on this number 94253495221. Thank you so much. God bless you.